Hi everybody, it's been quite a while since I've recorded any videos. Quite a lot's been happening. Just a really crazy year. I don't know when I look back to last October, it's kind of when my dad's health problems all really kicked in from that point. And it's been a year of struggling perimenopausally, if there's such a word as perimenopausally. So that's been a struggle for the last couple of years, but more so in the last year since January, and then on top of that, just the health situations of my parents, which it's something that I was not prepared for. I don't think anyone's ever prepared, and it just seems that at this point in my life, things are all coming to a point where I'm changing. And again, we hear about the change, don't we? It's almost mocked in a way, isn't it? Women who are going through the menopause, it's almost seemed to be a little bit funny. Let's see if I can balance you in this tree. Do you mind, tree? Maybe. Oh, that's quite good. So, yeah, it's kind of mocked, isn't it? Being in the menopause, or going through it, or beginning it. People take the mickey out of hot flushes and sweating at night, and that's really just two of the symptoms that is going on in your body. And I've been doing so much research, and I'm dealing with clients that are almost on the same path that I'm on, whether they're there right now or whether they're past it or they're just heading into it. It's vast. It can start from, early 40s, and I think looking back, I've been going through this and changing and dealing with health issues that I've not really talked about, because there was a slight hesitancy in admitting to myself that I wasn't feeling right, I wasn't feeling well, I was feeling achy and painy and sore, and my back was constantly hurting me, perpetual headaches in the morning, and then the mood swings, the irritability, the loss of just loss of sense of who I am. It's really opened things up for me. It's cracked open a whole area that I had really no knowledge about. I think we only know about menopause from experiences of our mothers, our aunties, our sisters, our work colleagues. That's really how we know what's going on. And generally it seems to be about hot flushes and sweating, excessive sweating, and what I'm reading about is there's so much around lack of self-esteem, confidence just diminishing, that's taken me by surprise, because things that I wouldn't think twice about doing, whether it's doing a presentation or recording a video, I wouldn't think twice about recording a video and engaging and helping and supporting. I was not able to do that. I really was not able to do that. And so I am sort of really I haven't stopped bleeding yet, so I'm still bleeding. So there's a misconception, I think, that menopause is when you stop bleeding, and that's what we seem to focus on. and perimenopause, which can last years, is leading up to the bleed that stops. And yeah, so I'm off to the doctor this evening to have a... I've talked about it with her before, and she's just guided me to a website. But the more research and reading I've done about it, I really want to find out more about the hormone levels within my body. Now, obviously, they're going to fluctuate, but if they can, and I don't know whether they can, but if they can do a test for progesterone levels and see where that is, what level that is in my body, because often we hear that it's about estrogen dominance, and in fact it's not about estrogen dominance necessarily, it's about progesterone diminishing, kind of reducing. And in that reduction, it's not that the estrogen necessarily dominates, but the estrogen is just higher in balance, and therefore that's where you get the sweating and the hot flushes. I'd be really interested to hear your experiences. I'd be, like my contemporaries, people, I'm just 50-ish, 3 months ago. I've got friends, clients, colleagues, I'd really like to open the discussion about perimenopause and symptoms, but more so about the management of it and opening a conversation around it, and about the emotional hit that we take, and in fact feeling like we are changing. And I do feel like I am changing. I know that Julia's in there somewhere, and I hope that she's going to come out at some point. But I know that she's in there, and I'd like to help her get through this, because, I am the only person that can really help myself get through this. We can get support, obviously, which is what we need from other people, but I don't just want to take a drug. And HRT, I don't think that's a suitable choice for me right now. I think I need to find out more about what's going on in my body, and maybe looking at different aspects and getting support for that. I just would really like to hear what you are going through also, because we all know that, the pictures that we post on Instagram, the things that we share on Facebook, the things that we share on Facebook are literally just a millisecond snapshot of life, and can be not staged, but if I take a picture of a nice sunset and Julia's smiling, then yeah, that's a nice sunset and Julia's smiling for that particular moment. That is a very dirty ball you created, Mrs. Anyhow, we're having fun here in the leaves in the trees. So yeah, I think I need to talk more about this. I've shut up and shut down a lot over the last year, because of health problems, aging problems for myself, for my parents, things that have been going on in family, emergencies, all sorts of things that happen. But generally, when I look at me dealing with all of those things, I am the person that is changing in all of that. Those things are externally happening anyway, because that's life. That's this whole journey that we're on here. But I myself am the one that's in the middle, dealing with all of those things that come and fly my way. So it's how I'm seeing that, and how I'm coping with that, and what can I do to help myself. And funnily enough, looking at all of my research and all of my writing around Rebalance Me, which initially began 30 years ago when I was recovering and healing myself through ME, through chronic fatigue syndrome, myalgic encephalomyelitis. It took me a long time to learn how to say that. And I wrote Rebalance Me. I've written it properly over the last 5 years, but it's been sort of coming for 30 years. But when I look at everything about Rebalance Me and the intention behind it, which was to support people to heal themselves and become their own healer, and when I look at that, when I look at the content, I realise how relevant it is right now, and that actually that's where I need to start. I mean, obviously there are key things that I have been doing. Oh, sorry, honey, I've got to go. Bye. Okay, so I'm just going to finish off because I got slightly distracted there because somebody just came along. So Rebalance Me that I've written about just becomes really relevant now, and although there are key practices, we've lost a ball. There's a ball down, but I'm sure she'll find it because she's pretty good at that, Luna. Yeah, I've got I have got key practices. I do meditate every day, and I sleep and I eat fairly well, and I drink and hydrate, and but there's other things that I think I need to add into that and put into, do some research and investigate, because it's a whole new portal, a whole new thing, and I'm going to hand it over and see what you come up with, if there's anything that you found that helped your, again, not necessarily about hot flushes and sweating and stuff, but really how you have navigated or how you are navigating this feeling of this confidence issue, this self-esteem issue, these emotional mood swings, irritability, all that sort of stuff, because progesterone is actually dropping in your body, and other hormonal and your adrenal glands are all basically trying to rebalance themselves, and that's she found it, very good. So I'm going to leave it there. I'd love to know how are you navigating this. So yeah, I'm going to put it out there and see what you think. All right, let's take a breath. These trees are lovely, aren't they? I'm just looking at the background and seeing how upright and tall they look. Right, guys, adios, speak soon. So, an update of my visit to the doctor. She was lovely, and she listened to my piece of paper with all my symptoms and how I'm feeling, and I sometimes feel that they get a bit fed up of people who talk about research that they've done and books that they've read, because I was coming at it from a holistic perspective based on the book that I've been reading by Dr. Christian Northrup. And really what she talked about was, she'd signposted me to Menopause Matters, which is a website run by the NHS. So I've yet to have a look at that. We talked a lot about the symptoms. She talked a little bit through hormone therapy. The cream that I thought might have been gel, I should say, that I thought was prescribed on the NHS, which was a progesterone cream. She says no, they don't prescribe a progesterone cream, it's only estrogen cream. She doesn't want to do any tests because she said that they're not effective, because obviously your hormone levels are changing every single day. So she felt there was no real benefit of doing that. And she also mentioned how, you know, the NHS and over here in the UK, you know, they don't want to medicalise menopause because it's a natural process. She printed out the NICE guidelines, which is quite a hefty chunk of literature for me to read. So I have begun to read them, but it's quite substantial, and it's written, I don't think for the layperson, but I think she gave it to me because of, I don't know, she gave it to me because she thought I knew what I was talking about. So I'm kind of back at square one. I didn't really, she did say she was going to run some bloods to check my thyroid and my vitamin B12, and to explore, just to be certain, you know, that the aches and pains and the headaches and stuff. So she said she'd do that. So I've got to go back and have some blood taken. But really, I'm still not sure. And I can feel it starting again, this cycle. Not that I'm ever really out of it, but it kind of comes in waves, so I can feel my body much more sore, forgetfulness, brain fog, irritable about, you know, putting a zip up, you know, I mean, like, irritable about all sorts of weird things, which is very unlike me. Tend to not be an irritable person, so, but when I feel that inside, it's like, where on earth is that? So yeah, I think I need to go back to the drawing board now and look at the progesterone creams that I have seen, because by my understanding, if you're still bleeding, the only things that she could offer me were estrogen cream, patches, and a Mariva coil. Did she say? A Mariva coil that's fitted internally, because if you have too much estrogen, it can damage your uterus, the lining of your uterus, if you still have it, which I do. There's always a knock-on effect, isn't there? There's always a play-off between, yeah, we'll give you some estrogen to calm down those symptoms, but yeah, it might cock up your internal organs. And I know that from experience, just seeing how much medication my parents have been on over the last 40 years and how it plays havoc with their stomach. So there we go. So that's where I'm at for this week and this vlog, and I think I'm going to go back to the drawing board and have a look at what's on offer naturally, holistically. And yeah, maybe I'm just one of those people that will explore the holistic element and then finally succumb to hormone replacement therapy. But I'm really going to try for that not to happen, because I've never really had any synthetics apart from paracetamol and antibiotics when I was young. I've not really had synthetic drugs. I don't want a long-term drug. So I you know, I talked to her about bioidentical hormones, and she didn't really know what they were. You know, she talked about the phytoestrogens and the phytonutrients that are the plant-based hormones soy being one of them, and she talked a little bit about black cohosh, really just saying that there was no evidence to suggest that it actually helped with hot flushes. But for me, you see, hot flushes isn't the main thing for me. It's all the other symptoms. So again, I'm really interested to know how, you know, how's it affecting you? Is it affecting you? Are you just not noticing, really? Has it not been a problem? Do you find, yes, it's mood swings, but it's manageable? I think my next step is that I'm going to seek out acupuncture for balancing yin and yang, because that's what's happening within my body. Is, you know, there's a definite shift in energies. So again, another way of thinking, but I'm going to explore acupuncture, and I'll come back on that one and talk about it. So yeah, please let me know if you're experiencing similar feelings, similar symptoms. Again, I'm not just talking about hot flushes and sweating, I'm talking about persistent headaches, aches and pain, like real serious joint, like you really feel like you've really serious joint aches and pains that make it very difficult getting out of bed in the morning, brain fog, concentration, lack of coordination, lack of confidence, very low mood, headaches on a regular basis, all individual things, but when you lump them all together, they add up to a lovely concoction. Anyway, that's my vlog for this week, and yeah, I'll return. Look forward to hearing anything that you've got that can help, and we can maybe, you know, help each other. Perhaps that would be cool, wouldn't it? Okay, adios.